what are your plans for me? And hello, welcome to my channel, Redeeming Echoes. My name is Anka Ranja. It's a beautiful, foggy day out there. I just had a walk, which I enjoyed. Today, I'm just thinking about, that verse in Jeremiah 29:11, which we do quote a lot. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. They're plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future, a bright future and a hope. And especially in this season where I know a lot of people and a lot of churches do normally have like a fast going on, just to dedicate the year to God. I'm, I'm not fasting. Yeah, just saying. I've been eating a lot lately, but that is beside the point. In regards to, because I'm aware that it's a month where people write their visions down and all that, but which is needed if you haven't written if you've not written your vision down. I think it's I'm not saying that it has to happen in January. You should be having a live vision board that that you tick and you add on as days goes by. But I want to talk about the in between. For I know the plans, where you sit down and you sit in silence, and that's the beauty of silence, where you ask God, what are your plans for me? And I remember quite well, probably over a decade ago, where like fasting looked like, especially I think it was to do with what sometimes you're taught, fast and pray this month, and then everything move on. And sometimes it can be a ticking of a box, which is not supposed to be, just because it's just because people are doing it, and you find that you've enjoyed the motion of, oh, I fasted. And some people, it looked like I prayed and then I went on my day and I did not eat, and then I ate at night time and all that. But in the praying, in the seeking of God, do we actually allow silence to hear the voice of the one who has a plan, and actually honor that place of silence as part of prayer as well, where you have days where you don't have to shout, you don't have to make a lot of noise, and joyful noise is amazing and all that, but you sit down with a pen and a paper and just honor the presence of Emmanuel, God with us, who never left us, who is always there, and ask these questions, and actually ask the Holy Spirit to help you to ask the right questions in regards to your future. For he says, I know the plans that I have for you. So God, I step into a dimension of all knowing, and I choose to sit here and honor you in silence. I choose to sit here in anticipation that you're here with me and that you are always speaking. And I thank you for ears that hear and eyes that sees, that I will hear what you're saying and I'll see what you're doing. For it's not just what he's saying. He normally says, come up here and I'll show you of the things that must take place. So Lord, how does that look like? Me coming up here, forsaking the former things and coming to see what you are doing, what you are saying, so that I can come into alignment with that. And when you have given me, when I have written it down, when I have fully, I don't know, use the word fully understood in this particular moment, because we know he's a mysterious God. Sometimes he opens the scroll a little bit and then you run with that. You do what you need to do with that. And you find that in that, the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. In that, as you do that, another door opens up and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is what I need to do. But actually you needed to take that first step for the other part to open up. And coming back to the question that I had presented, what do we do with the in-between? And by in-between, it's when he has spoken and we're waiting for it to come to pass. What are we doing? How is our heart? What is the posture of our heart? in that particular moment, because sometimes we can wait for days and then something happens, sometimes months, other times it can be years and decade. And when I say that, it's something that I've gone through, and I know a lot of us have gone through that as well, where you're like, wow, did you really say that? Because it's been years. But do we begin to doubt what he said? Because we feel like we've done everything that we know what to do to bring this word to pass, but it hasn't happened. So God, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? My goodness. And there's always that little voice that tells you maybe you need to pray harder, or maybe you've fallen short of what you were supposed to do. And we forget that, there are times, for example, when there was the manna time, which is there are times that miracles happen, and there are times that he will give you a land and he will tell you, go occupy, go possess it, and that does not look like waking up and there's manna for you to eat. That looks like, wow, that is my land, and I need to tilt it, I need to plant so that I can enjoy the fruit thereof, and that takes time. That takes time, that takes faith, that takes trust, even when you don't know what you're doing, but you remember that he spoke, and he spoke, he said, but God said, and I think we need to remind ourselves, just going back to what he has spoken, even previously, the last few years, because I have spoken to a few people who were disappointed that, they've been trusting God for something and it has not happened yet, and they feel like, have I missed something? And I mean, I like those questions. It's beautiful that, we can, as opposed to, shutting ourselves down, and maybe that's the topic that I will bring another time, where we become disappointed. And because of that, we choose to close ourselves, and we choose to not fully trust God 100%, because if I give him 60% and I'm left with 40, so if he does not do it, then I'll not be disappointed. And maybe, it's something that we do, and it's something that we need to deal with. Like I say, that's another topic that I will be bringing up at some point, so that we can be able to see how we can deal with that together, and how to just be self-aware, because some of the habits that we form, they have been there for a long time. Some of them we learned because we had to learn how to survive, how to cope, where others we just inherited, and we thought this is the way life is supposed to be. And in the process of it, in between, God begins to challenge some of the behaviors and some of the beliefs that we have of ourselves and of him. And when we stand before the light, these things get triggered. And when that happens, it's good when, instead of running away from him, we run to him, and he helps us to deal with that. For example, unbelief. And for me, it's something that I've been dealing with for the last week, actually, because I found out, or he reminded me of things that he has spoken, but because of the magnitude of them, I felt unworthy to fulfill those tasks. And I had to ask him, God, what are those beliefs that are actually becoming hindrance to me walking in the fullness of that which you're calling me into? Because you're not a liar when you say that I know the plans that I have for you, and they're plans to prosper you. You never say they're plans that I need to fully understand, or plans that I can achieve in my own will. But when I look at my will and say, oh, this is too big for me, or this is impossible, then doubt, I give a voice to doubt. And with that, I'm just having to write down, when did I allow these doubts to come? When did I allow unbelief? And it has been a beautiful journey for the last 7 days, where I've been able to see, even from childhood, where I allowed those things to, to come in and to become part of my pattern, part of my mindset. And yeah, it has been the renewing of those things. And yeah, I know mindset is something that I will be bringing that back again and again, because I love the scriptures. It's like it's like going for a good therapy, but now you are face to face with a great physician, Yahweh. And yes, I do advocate for therapy as well. I think, having studied counseling and still one of the students who is taking gap years at the moment, I've learned to allow those tools, honor the tools that God has given us, so that we can be able to, integrate that in our daily lives, so that, because His desire is for us to walk in wholeness, and wholeness looked like us, seeking and desiring to be whole, even as we walk, as we take another step forward towards the goals, towards these plans, as we watch them come to pass, because there are some promises that you need to be in a certain place, body, spirit, and soul, so that you can embody them. Because if you step in them now, that will be in a very premature season, and you might mess up. But when we allow wholeness to come, even as we, as we walk with Him, as we seek and as we desire, as we allow ourselves to go through the process of being equipped, and sometimes it looks like training, reading the books that you need to at that particular time, being mentored to step into something that, that is beyond yourself. But in that's where the work comes in, where, He said this, and because this is where I'm going, I have seen the future, how my future looks like, and even whatever you've seen, knowing that He's going to do beyond, above that we could ask or imagine. Like, that it just gets me excited. And because you can see that, and He is an amazing God, and you are made in His image and likeness, to be able to be like, I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to be whole, and to be equipped to step into that as He desires of me to do that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave us with a question of, how are you navigating in between of a promise spoken and a promise fulfilled? Have a good day, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and let me know what, just listen to the message. I know you have, if you get to this point, and let me know how you're navigating those moments of the waiting. Thank you, and have a good day.